Okay, looking forward to our fourth straight home game in the month of September. It's also homecoming. It's a very special time for all of our fans. I know our coaches and our players are excited about that too. Playing a very good team in Southern Miss, a team that went 8-5 last year. Went to a good bowl game offensively. They can really throw it. I think they're 8th in the country in passing yards, their quarterback and receivers. They're very impressive defensively. They're 9th in total defense. They play extremely hard. They put a lot of pressure on the offense, and a very well coached team. And Coach Hobson's a guy that when he was at Alcorn State and I was at Arizona State, we played against each other, so we do know each other fairly well. Just a quick update: Nick Brahms will make his second start at center. We thought he did some good things. There's nothing like experience getting out there and running the show, and we thought he did a solid job last week with that and expect him to improve. Questions?
And where you look at some other teams on the offensive line, like maybe Austin Troxel movement?
Yeah, Markwell, we feel like he wasn't 100%, but he's getting better. He moved around pretty good Sunday. Trox is a guy that we have a lot of confidence in, and he'll be ready if called upon, and it was good to get him some snaps.
What did you see out of Brahms? You said it's been almost 3 years.
Yeah.
What did you see out of him?
Yeah. First of all, I thought his identification was pretty good. That's what you always worry about, because that's really the quarterback of up front, direct him the right way and all that. For the most part, he does a solid job. And anytime you put a new center in, you worry about legal procedures and everything that goes with that. There was a couple times our timing was off just a little bit, but the more he plays, the more comfortable that he'll get. I thought his snaps were adequate. From a quarterback standpoint, that a different kind of snap is a reality that makes a difference with a quarterback. So I think Jarrett will get more comfortable with that. And I thought he tried to play physical. I mean, that's probably the number one thing that stood out to me is his physicality, trying to bring a physical presence. Like I said, there's nothing like experience. You're talking about a guy, like you said, that hadn't played or hadn't started in 3 years for the most part back in high school. So I feel like he has a big upside.
Your snaps were down again this game, I think. You were around 60 or something like that?
Yeah.
Probably a lot slower than you'd like to go.
Yeah, well, I think when you talk number of snaps, I think you got to look at the big picture as far as the execution and being on the field and first downs and third downs, which we really weren't good, at either one. And, offensively, obviously, we weren't pleased. But I think, you got to look at the big picture, and the reality is that, we had an offensive line that had less than 20 starts, coming in the season. And then you change your center, and goes with that. Then you got really 4 new running backs, 3 of which are freshmen, their first time to play, and then you have a new freshman receiver that started for the first time. So there's a lot of youth and experience that I really feel strong that this group is going to be a good offense, but they're still a work in progress. That group will improve, there's no doubt, and we expect them to.
Jarrett looked frustrated at times at the sideline. What was the communication like between the sideline and him getting plays in?
Well, I think the only time was really the legal. I mean, we ran out of time from the sideline. That was, we got to do a better job from the sideline with the play clock and everything, getting the play in quicker and all that. But I think as far as frustration, I think you probably sensed a lot of that offensively just from the standpoint that we didn't play well. And anytime you don't play well, there's going to be frustrated times, and our quarterback is the leader out there, and so that's to be expected to somewhat.
How do you get him to kind of overcome some of that frustration? Just with he hadn't had a big game yet, he's had some turnovers, obviously protected the ball well Saturday, but he hasn't had that breakout game.
Yeah, I really believe it's coming. You got to understand. I mean, obviously, there's plays he'd like to have back and all that, but we got to play better around him too. And kind of like I just said, I think we got to be real with the standpoint of the youth and the inexperience. But we're 4 games in now, and the fact that we did start a new center, I think that's going to help us moving forward. And we got a lot of good information about what we need to do moving forward, and what we have, and what we feel like we can be good at, and maybe what we need to stay away from too. So really I expect us to play better and better each game, and I think you'll see less of a frustration, because it wasn't just him. I mean, I was pretty frustrated too, and I know our offensive coaches were too.
In your experience, at what point in the season, when you have a veteran quarterback like him, does youth and experience around him stop becoming an excuse?
Well, like I just said, 4 games. You know, we played 4 games, so you know it's a time that we'll get better. We need to get better sooner rather than later. So, but you know, we're 4 games in, so you know, I think that's a valid question.
Chief was giving you guys hell with that mesh charge again, which he did a couple years ago at A&M. Was that a function of Bronze?
No, you know, I think they were teeing off on our snap count. It really wasn't so much a mesh charge. I think it was more of teeing off on our snap count. So we got to do a better job of mixing things up, you know, because they were widening out and they were getting a jump on the ball and putting extreme pressure on our tackles. And you know, a lot of that has to do, you're talking about a new center, those little things that you probably wouldn't even think about when you put a new center in. And so, but he'll get better with mixing things up. You know, we'll work real hard on that this week, just so that won't happen again.
You change that up a little bit in the second half, fourth quarter?
Yes, yeah, we sure did.
You mentioned last week you wanted to see improved pass rush. Did you see some positives there?
Yeah, you know, we talked about putting pressure on the quarterback and disrupting the quarterback. And I felt like that we did that, and I thought Kevin really mixed up his pressures well and presented a lot of different challenges to their offense. And you know, I thought that was good.
T.D. Moultrie, he's had sort of a, I don't know, developmental, maybe hasn't progressed like you thought he would. What would you say is sort of holding him back a little bit?
Well, I think consistency. He just needs to be more consistent. He's got a skill set. He just needs to be more consistent and execute what they call.
What has made Schwartz a guy that can get in so early on for a guy who didn't even spend most of the summer?
Yeah, that's been impressive. You know, he's a football intelligent guy. You know, the moment's not too big for him. He's a real confident guy, and he's protected the football. So, and you're exactly right. You know, he wasn't here very much at all during the summer because of track, and he's been a pleasant surprise of how quick he's caught on.
Has it been particular with him? A lot of times, track guys kind of have to learn how to play football.
Yeah.
It seems like that wasn't the case with him.
That's not the case with him at all. I mean, he's a real football player. He just happens to be one of the fastest guys in the country too.
As far as Shivers goes, I think he had 2 snaps in this last game.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of worried about, does he need to kind of get a head start or a launch?
You know, I think if we can get him past the line of scrimmage to second level, I think that's when he can really show what he can do. And I think when you've seen him be successful, we've done that. And you know, he's and he's still learning too. I mean, you know, you got to understand there's a process of learning the blocking schemes and all that, and how to be patient. You know, it's hard for freshmen to be patient early because they get excited, they get in there, and they're just thinking high school run, where you got to kind of read things and let things develop. But you know, he's got a chance to be a really good player.
What are you hoping to do as far as playing time with Eli and Will in these next couple of weeks?
Yeah, you know, with those 2 guys, you know, my deal with them, of course, obviously they're progressing very good, but we practice each week and we try to push them a little bit more. And my whole deal is I need them to be 100% mentally and physically before we put them out there. And so last week I didn't feel that way. Nothing, not a negative, but I just want to make sure we do what's best for them. And you know, when they're feeling good, they'll be back out there. And so that was kind of the thinking.
Does not playing them kind of, I mean, that gives you another game before they could be redshirted. Does that kind of help you?
Yeah, I think so. And then, like, strategically, we can do what's best for them, you know, as they're progressing.
Talk about the new rule being what it is with the redshirt deal. Just how much of an additional challenge has that been during the last week, just with Timothy you've had?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, it's a new rule. Anytime you have a new rule, there's new things that, you know, come up, and you do the best you can, you know, as far as adapting. And I think next year everybody around the country will have a better idea of what to expect and, you know, what it means and all that.
Was that kind of an unexpected headache, something I'm sure a lot of coaches don't want to deal with in their game plan, and they're having to meet with players about their future, and even players who aren't transferring, wondering about what's going on with the team.
Yeah, I think anytime you got challenges that you have guys leave the team, in the middle of the season, there's challenges. But that's part of the job description that you do as a coach. And like I said, it's kind of a new day in college football as far as that is concerned. And like I said, I think you'll probably see more and more of that in the future.
How do you feel about the rest of your guys on your roster as far as that goes?
I feel good.
So the expectation, obviously, it's less than ideal to lose the 3 guys last week, but is the expectation moving forward that you guys will be able to get through the rest of the year without losing anybody else?
No, we think so. I mean, you never know how a year goes, but at this point, I feel pretty good about it.
Seems like you're keeping A's beak wet a little bit, getting a couple plays here and there.
Who's that?
A's and Martin?
Yeah.
Do you feel like he's still an option to be that tailback?
Yeah, he's getting good practice time, and he's got a good skill set. He catches the ball out of the backfield well, and he protects well and all that. And so I think you could see his role grow as you go. And then the thing about running back, depth at running back through the course of the season, when people get banged up and everything, you can't have enough.
Yes, how much time did you guys spend on punt returns back in the spring and preseason?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, in the spring we spent more time in really all the special teams than we had any time I'd been here, and we went more live. And we've got a dynamic punt returner, and we knew that if we gave him a chance, which we've done a good job of giving him opportunities, been doing a good job up front, crunching and all that, and everybody can see what he can do. He's electric with the ball, his hands in space, and Noah is one of the best kick returners in our league too. So our special teams is to a point where they're capable of being one of the best in our league, or the best. They just got to keep improving and all that. But that was a lot of fun to watch. Saturday when all 4 units I felt like played well.
Is Richard Juvenor a guy that's, because of what you've seen out of him, getting closer to maybe helping you guys?
He could. He's got he's got a unique skill set, and he can run, and he's not scared.
What have you seen out of Big Cat? Looks like he's improved.
I think so. I think the more you see him out there, the more he improves, and the more experience he gets, the better he's going to get.
Nate was such a big time blocker for you guys on the outside, but Chip was saying the other day he thought that Shedrick and Seth did a good job. What did you see out of those guys?
Yeah, both those guys are big guys that are capable of being very good blockers. It's just they don't have the experience that an older guy would have, but they're both willing. We're really working hard in practice, with that.
It seems like it's late in the game. You guys had a little more success running the perimeter with how the run game has been struggling. Just how do you balance getting those perimeter runs but still trying to establish stuff between the pass?
They work together. I mean, they really work together. As an offensive coach, you try to take what they're giving you, but to be successful running the football, you have to run it enough inside and run it enough outside. And, like I said, we got to get better in both those areas. I wouldn't say we've arrived in either area, but when you really get going, that's how it works.
Going forward, do you anticipate Cam and Boobie got to share things?
I think so, and then see who's hot and go with it. And then Shivers is a guy that I think you could see get some more carries too. I think if we get more volume of plays, you get more touches and you get more carries and everything. But the last 2 weeks, our play count's been not what we want.
How would you evaluate the offensive line play, and has it gotten better as you kind of go along?
Some things we've improved in. I think our communication is probably the biggest thing. And a couple weeks ago we were a little banged up. We wasn't able to practice like we'd like to practice to try to get some guys to the game, and that probably set us back a little bit. But they're capable of being a good offensive line. I really feel like that's going to happen sooner rather than later because they want to. There's some smart guys. And like I said, Coach Grimes he's the best in the business, so I know he's going to get them there. And
how much does it hurt when you got a situation like that when you can't practice physical as much as you want to?
Well,
you got so many guys that haven't played that much.
Yeah, if you got a veteran offensive line, it doesn't hurt you. because they're veterans. If you got inexperienced offensive line, it hurts you. So it's that balance, and so there's been a couple things, and not making excuses for anything. It's just a reality of where we're at. That kind of set us back a little bit, but each game we need to see improvement, and I expect us to.
Yes, how important would it be the offense to hit a couple of long passes?
Yeah, very important. Explosive plays. I mean, we need the explosive plays. We're at our best. We're playing fast. We're having explosive plays, not just in the pass game, but the run game too. And we hadn't had near as many as we'd like. So we've got to figure out how to get that done.
How much does it change? I guess I'm not sure what year they did the substitution there, where the offense substitute and the other the defense substitute. From like when you were first came here and first started running your offense, how has that changed the ability to keep playing fast?
Yeah, well, I mean, you still play fast, but you've got to get initial first down, and you got to keep the ball from going outside the white to slow things down, on the sideline. But obviously we used to be the only team doing it, and so they were still trying to figure. Now everybody has some pace to it, so it's a little bit different, but you can still go fast. You got to make first downs. So.
Is it tough to make that decision when you guys are going fast?
No, not really. No, you kind of already know ahead of time when you call a play that you got the personnel on there, and hey, if we get a play of 6 or more, we're going to pace this or that. So really not that hard at all.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
Okay, thank you all.